Now, the Makhanda High Court has ordered the Eastern Cape Departments of Transport as well as Education to provide scholar transport to qualifying learners. The court has also ordered both departments to develop what is a catch-up plan for pupils that missed school in 2024 and report back to the court. Joining us to discuss this a little bit more is Cameron McConnachie, who is a Legal Resource Centre Regional Director. Cameron, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. I think I've run out of numbers and fingers here when counting how many court cases our own government has been taken to court for here, and it's another situation like that. Is this a case of just poor infrastructure, or is this a case of a lack of investment in getting this right, or is this just neglect?
I think it's probably a little bit of all of those things. The Eastern Cape is a very big province, so getting learners to school is a challenge. And we do have, the legacy of apartheid and Transkei and Ciskei being very underdeveloped portions of the Eastern Cape. So there is some of that, but it is also the scholar transport program, which has been pretty badly managed for 15 years, if not longer. And it's resulted in approximately, as it stands now, the estimate is about 40,000 children who qualify for scholar transport are still not being transported. So yes, you're right. There have been a number of court cases, but we're actually we're hopeful and we're positive and we're very pleased with this judgment and the order that was handed down, because we think it should, take us in the right direction in trying to get this scholar transport program sorted out in the Eastern Cape.
I mean, if the departments couldn't do it themselves, who's to say that a court ruling will necessarily make them do it? Do you still believe that this will certainly then come to the fore, this will actually be taking place? Or do you foresee a few more challenges then coming through from the Department of Transport and the Department of Education, whether it be in the form of a lack of funding or infrastructure?
I think, look, the order was just handed down on Tuesday, so we're still trying to celebrate and be positive, and we really hope that the department is going to take this on board, see the severities, read the judgment, see exactly what is expected of them, and take the necessary steps to help learners in the province get to school. Yes, it's very possible that we may have to go back to court in a few months' time. Or in a few years' time, who knows? But hopefully, this is the start of the department trying to get this program up on its feet and get everyone to school.
Yeah, I mean, are you anticipating a rise then in the number of applications for scholar transport, which of course needs to be considered at the very least then by the end of January? Is that going to be sufficient time?
So most of the applications you're supposed to put the application in by sort of September, October of this year, 2024, if you want to be transported for 2025. Most schools have been applying for transport year after year after year, and it's recorded on the SA SAMS, which is a sort of a database of schools and what's going on in schools. So the department really has the data and the information that it knows who needs to be transported. It's just the system has been badly managed. One of the defenses that they raised was that they don't have enough money to roll it out to all the children, but they didn't put up very good evidence about what steps they'd taken to try and get the money. And it is possible, probably likely, that they are going to have to approach provincial treasury and possibly national treasury to get the money that they need. But our constitution is very clear about the right to basic education, and the way it's framed is that it's something that has to be immediately realizable. It's not something to be progressively realized, subject to available resources, like some of the other socioeconomic rights. So it has to be prioritized. And when the stories that we put up in our papers regarding what children are going through to get to school, it's just not fair. It's really not fair. And so we think that this, hopefully this is the money will be forthcoming so that these learners' rights can be upheld.
Let's talk about also then this catch-up plan as well. What exactly is this plan supposed to entail? Does this mean perhaps additional teachers or extra learning classes for these learners as well? Will it be continuing throughout then the festive season, or will it just kick off then next year? And I know the court case was only won just this week, but do you have any insight on that?
So I don't have any detail on that. The judgment and the order was quite light on detail. It really just said that the department needs to be aware that some children will have missed significant portions or significant amounts of school during 2024, and that provisions need to be made to help them catch up. And that will, I'm sure, take different forms in different schools, depending on how long children were out of school, and what they missed and what is needed. So I don't have any detail on what that will look like. And I really think it was more, it was an aspect of it was really just the judge saying, look, this is having a devastating impact on learners. They're missing out on school, and it's they're falling further and further behind. So you need to do something to make sure that you remedy that. But yeah, I don't know exactly what those catch-up plans will look like.
Cameron, in your dealings with not just this case, but many others in and around the province, are you getting a sense then that government is perhaps skirting the law in trying to, or in not, fulfilling a lot of its role when it comes to basic needs such as this or some of the others as well? Or is it just a case of the province perhaps, and some areas of this province, not being sufficiently funded in order to get the correct infrastructure, development in play, personnel, etc.?
So it's probably a combination. Sadly, every year, various departments send back large amounts of money to National Treasury or to Provincial Treasury and National Treasury, which they haven't spent. So to say that there's just isn't enough money, that can't always be the excuse, because often the money is there and it's not being spent. That's the one side. The other side, and the reason for the under expenditure is poor planning, probably insufficient human resource capacity, not having the right people in the right places and the right jobs. So I think it's a combination of factors. And we can only hope that court judgments like the one handed down today, which are very specific and detailed in terms of, not handed down today, handed down this week, are very detailed and specific in what is required and what is expected of officials, and the reporting requirements that they need to report back to court regularly on a monthly basis with all the steps that they've taken. So if after 1 or 2 or 3 months we see that the report coming in, they're not hitting the right notes, we'll know what needs to happen.
100%.
To get them in place.
Thank you so much for doing this as well then, Cameron, and we hope to continue to follow up on this story as well as we continue to follow on and just giving that basic right then of scholarly transport then as well in this time then. Cameron McConnachie, who is the Legal Resource Centre Regional Director.